Hey everybody, welcome back to High Ground News Network. This is Justin Dill along with Chris Apple. Chris, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me back.
No problem. All right, so a couple of new questions we got tonight. One of them is going to be about fitness. Law enforcement is a physically demanding profession that often requires deputies to respond quickly in high-risk situations. What standards or programs would you implement to ensure all deputies are physically prepared to protect the public and themselves on the job?
So when you get into law enforcement, most of the time you only have to do PT for the first 6 months of your job. So you do PT test to get hired on, and then a PT test in the academy, and then you have to, a lot of academies you do PT while you are in the academy, usually in the morning times. You run and do exercises. And then after that, if you don't ever want to pick up another weight again, you don't have to. Like you said, this is a physically demanding job, and I've had my own struggles with it where there was bouts where I didn't go to the gym and I'd just sit in my car and eat a lot and not do anything, working out wise, and then I shoot up in weight to 215, 220, and then it's like, I gotta come back down. So then I'd get in the gym and get down into the 190s, and that's kind of where I've stayed. But it is a demanding job, and so if you can't, I'm not saying you got to be some super like a power lifter, but and be able to bench press a car, but you got to be able to at least carry your buddies to pull them through. So if you're too tiny, like a little tater tot, you're not going to be able to pull. A lot of people wouldn't be able to pull me at 195 and 25 pounds of gear if I get shot in the pelvis and my hip fractures and I can't walk, and then they got to drag me behind the car to fix me up. If they're too small, they can't drag me because they ain't got the strength, because you're slinging rounds down range while grabbing me one-handed and pulling me back. And if you're too big, then you're just out of it, because it's cumbersome and hard to get to me. And so it's not about being ripped and lean and all this 45-inch biceps. It's not about that. It's about over time building up strength and conditioning so that we can be athletic again. Because we live in Alabama, and some fellas, they're just pure cornbread fed. That's all their mama fed them was cornbread and butter beans, and they're just a big old country hoss. So it's not so much about the size. It's about being athletic, being able to be physical, and answer the physical demands that this job has. And so I've been thinking, if elected sheriff, I'm going to institute a yearly PT test. And that's going to be that you had to pass a post, which is what everybody has to pass to be a cop, which is you have 1 minute to do 22 push-ups, 1 minute to do 25 sit-ups. You run a mile and a half in 15 minutes and 28 seconds. And then you do an obstacle course where you push a car 10 or 15 feet, jog a little, hop a 6-foot fence, jog a little, climb through a 2-foot by 2-foot window, jog a little, walk across a 10, 15-foot balance beam, jog a little, drag a 165-pound dummy 10, 15 feet. And you have a minute and a half to do that. Most people do it in 45 seconds to a minute, depending on how fast they run in between obstacles. So it's not, when I was in middle school doing football, my dad would take me to the school parking lot, put the van in neutral, and have me push it for a lot more than 15 feet. So, it's so easy to become a police officer that even a middle schooler playing football can pass the PT test. So there's no reason that on any given day at any given time we shouldn't be able to do it as police. And there are some officers and deputies that you say, hey, do the A+ PT test right now. That would just fail because they can't do it. Because whether their cardio is bad, their strength conditioning is bad, whatever reason may be. So I want us to take care of our bodies is the thing. So I've been talking with some physical therapists in the area and getting a plan that if I am sworn in January of 27, that by March, hopefully between March and May, that we'll have this physical therapist on board, but get someone who's also made for strength and conditioning training. And so have a whole year. It's not just because they're too tiny or too big that we're just going to fire them immediately. We're going to give everybody a fair chance. You're going to have a whole year of preparation so that through PT and physical therapy, we can fix any issues that people have, ailments, back issues, knee issues, whatever. Fix that, get them strengthened up. And every year we're going to have the APOS test along with you have to bench press your body weight for 3 reps, squat 1.5 times your body weight for 3 reps, deadlift twice your body weight for 3 reps. Then do 3 pull-ups overhand grip with your duty gear on, and then 3 pull-ups underhand grip with your duty gear on, and then carry half your body weight for 100 yards. And so if you fail, then you'll be given a second chance, where it's from the day of the test, it's 4 weeks. So like 4 weeks a month. So like 30 days, where you focus, try to get your strength back up, and then try it again, which you'll still be allowed to be in the field and stuff. And then if you fail it a second time, desk duty, you have 2 weeks to get yourself right. You try it again, and then if you fail then, you've had 3 chances. We've given you 6 weeks of dedicated time to get right and try, and so you're out. And the caveat is, if I do not maintain these physical standards, then I got to step down as sheriff, because I can't require something of my men that I'm not willing to do myself. So if I'm going to force them to be fit and as athletic as we can and make ourselves and as physically ready, then I too have to lead by example and follow those rules and regulations concerning physical fitness. And if I don't meet those standards, I'm out. I mean, that's the only fair way to stay accountable with it. And so every year, we don't want to just stall ourselves out. We want to see an increase. So if I'm 195, so putting 205 on the bar is probably the easiest. Just a 45 and a 35 on each side. So if I do that for my first year bench pressing, the next year we want to see a 10-pound 1 rep increase. So by what would be at that point, I'll be doing 205 in March of 28. So then by March of 29 for my second PT test, I'll be doing 215 for 4 reps, if not more. I mean, if you could put up more weight, put up more weight. But that's just the minimum requirement. It makes us make sure that we're working, and it's not something that you can just a month before do a couple extra push-ups a night and pass. Because you can look online and see body camera footage of cops getting shot, staying in the fight, getting shot while fist fighting, and still having to, losing blood. And if you're not used to working under load, working under stress, pushing yourself when you're tired, if you get stabbed in the neck or something, you're losing a lot of blood. And there's you're in a school and there's some kind of active shooter and you get hit. I mean, just because you get hit, it's not like airsoft or paintball where you raise your hand and say, "I'm out, coach." No, I mean you still got to fight. You still got to know how to fight when you say you get hit in the leg and you can't feel your leg. Gunman's not going to stop shooting kids just because you can't feel your leg and it hurts, or you can't feel your leg or you're hurting. You got to know how to work through that and push past it, which is where hard training comes in, because if we aren't physically ready, we don't come home. And if we aren't physically ready, there are times when you or your loved ones may not come home because of our physical negligence. And that's something that I don't think a lot of candidates or anywhere in the country will talk about, or law enforcement leadership, is the environment of laziness. And I hate to say laziness because it's not so much that it's just outright laziness. It's just most places work 12-hour shifts, and then you're pulling overtime after shift, or you're at work. So you have no time to yourself. You're burnt out. Aniston was great because they gave you an hour on shift where you weren't messed with, but you got an hour every shift on the clock to work out. So it's usually like 45 minutes to work out, and then, shower, get dressed, and be back out on the street in an hour or so. Then the next guys would come in, and the shifts would figure that out. At the county, their SOP was like they had a duty to remain fit policy, and you got 30 minutes 3 times a week for anaerobic exercise. But if we stayed at the office too long, in the morning, fixing, doing paperwork corrections for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And then we're like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to go to the gym. But then it's like, no, you have to be gone by 8. Y'all stay here too long. You're here too much. Y'all are not doing it at your job because you're here too much. And it's like, well, I got home I pulled overtime. So I got home at 11 o'clock last night and got into bed by 12 or 1 o'clock. And then woke my butt up and drug my butt here. So do I want to get up early? An hour and a half early to drive 30 minutes to the office or to a gym to work out for an hour? No. When the policy says I can work out on duty, but you don't let me. And why is it not every day? Why is it just 3 times a week? Because on our long weeks, we worked 5 days. So 2 of those days you don't get to, and you're out of policy. Or if you do try to keep your health up and maintain physicalness at the sheriff's office, it's like, well, if you go your 4th day, you're violating policy. So then am I going to get in trouble? So it's just a whole lot of, now on your short weeks, you're fine because you're only working 2 days. So I get you can't make up a 3rd day because you can't work out twice in the same day. But a lot of times it's supervisor discretion, but that's what it's written as in policy. And so we promote overworking our guys. Because we don't take care of them outside of the field. We don't help them outside of the job. And so if we make it to where they don't have to work as much, just doing monotonous stuff, pulling overtime to pay bills and things, that comes with pay or however we had to fix that. But making their quality of life outside the job better, that'll give them more time because they're not as work as much. And if they do want to come in, and then if they want to stay late and work out or come in early and work out, we'll pay them overtime. We'll reward them with hard work as long as they're getting better. And I have incentives that I would like to put in place, but that comes with, if I do get elected, talking those incentives out with the commission. Like when it comes to step raises, if they pass, maybe it's a little bit extra money on the Christmas bonus that they usually get, or maybe a 0.5% or 1% increase on the step raises that we get. So instead of 3.5 being 4.5% on the end of their salary. Just whatever we can get to work, so that they don't feel like they're just doing it just to not get fired. But it's a incentive to keep them healthy, keep them working, and improve quality of life.